Hey everybody, we are playing Laysara Summit Kingdom. The demo was released on Steam and the final game is expected to come out in mid-2023. This is a city builder with a Himalayan flair. So let's dive in and see how this demo works. Bearing in mind as a demo, it has things like the economy disabled, so we can just build and have fun with it. So the standard movement controls are your WASD, like most games, and your mouse wheel to zoom out and zoom in. You move all the way around the mountain peak itself, all 360 direction, but you don't have to worry about moving away from the mountain. So in the demo, it's got a tutorial to guide you through it. The marketplace being your center of town that gives food to all the villagers and things, and then everything is connected by roads. Many city builders will use roads as their main guideline, and this one uses that as well. There will be resources and things that move along the roads, and unlike a lot of other games, the radius of buildings is not a radius from the building so much as distance traveled along the roads. So you could have two buildings side by side, but if there isn't a convenient street connecting them, they may not actually be able to reach each other. So we're going to get a few little houses built up. The little red flag above the marketplace shows up when your buildings are lacking something. In this case, it was lacking actual population. So now we've got some cities in place, everything's working. And I'm going to throw in an extra building just because I like extra workers. Now you can see here that green radius. This is a mandala to make people happy. And as long as the road is green, it is within radius of the mandala. Most of the other buildings like bathhouses and marketplaces will use that green as you build it, so you can see how many buildings are within their radius. Now clicking on the house shows you what they desire and demand to move up to the next level, and in this case they want some food, so we're going to add a chicken farm. Now when you add resources, they need to connect to the marketplaces. So when I plant this chicken farm, egg production will then need to send the eggs to the marketplace. And again, we have that green radius limitation for how far you can deliver your eggs. So if your roads are very bendy, twisty, they may not get as far as a straight shot down the road to the marketplace. But here's a case where now everybody's getting food, everybody's things, so let's expand our roads a little bit more and set up a place for a farm. Now the egg farm produced eggs by itself. The mill is going to require a barley field to send barley to the mill. The barley fields and the mill all need to connect to roads. So I'm going to set up this barley field and set up two above it. The second barley field does not connect to a road. So I'm going to set up a road coming from the other direction. So the first barley field will send its wheat to the left, and the second barley field will send its wheat to the right. So you can see its green radius is just close enough, whereas that one's right next door. Now the red flag on the farm means we need to get some yaks. So let's set up a yak farm in the corner. Again, it needs to touch the roads, but only by one. So we'll set up the yak farm, and now our mill is ready to produce. Fortunately, the mill is close enough to the marketplace, so we can just send the barley straight over, and now all of our residents are happy. And we can upgrade those buildings. So the blue upgrade tag, you can just click on its tag. Yeah, we see the axe, thank you. Or you could click on the house, and there's an upgrade button on the house. But I'm just going to click on the blue tag itself because that's quicker and easier. And now we've got our happy people. So you can add more buildings, more houses, as long as they're within the radius, they get all the bonuses. So a bridge needs two connecting points, one on either side. I'm going to actually want to set them up so the roads line up. So I'm going to put my road in place first. That's a good connection point up there. I'm going to make a road go to that connection point and then set up the bridge going across from one side to the other. And now we can start building on the second platform of the first level of this mountain. So now that our bridge is in place, we'll expand a road and set up another marketplace as a town center. Whereas the first side is for simple villagers, this side will be for the artisan type. There we go. Nice marketplace in place. We'll get up a couple of my usual roads around it. These aren't necessary. And once you have economy in place, you probably won't want to build roads until you actually need them. But since this is the demo, let's just get it in place quickly. Now that we've got our marketplace there, we'll get some farms going. So whoever shows up here will have something to eat. And now we'll get some artisan houses. Instead of the blue lowlanders, these are going to be the red artisans. So here we've got the lovely artisan houses going into place. So now artisans want a bathhouse. So let's put a bathhouse on the side, and you can see all the artisan houses are green, so they're all within radius. We'll extend a road and give them a mandala to make them happy as well. The mandala is long and skinny. We cannot rotate buildings, so I gotta find a good place to put this. And as I move it around, you can see that top row of houses aren't in range of the mandala. So as I slide it around, one house keeps getting left out. So I'm gonna put it here, and that corner artisan house is just gonna be out of luck. Now you cannot rotate the houses. Some people may want to, but for a variety of reasons, including having to make 4 times as much artwork. But I kind of like the puzzle aspect of having things fit where you can. So we're going to get everything in there, and now we're going to put in the other things that these artisans require. The cheese maker is another 2-part building. We need the yak shack to produce milk and wool, and then the cheese maker to make the cheese itself. And we'll send the cheese over to the building. So now everybody is happy. Now you'll notice that top corner building, since it's not in range of the mandala, they're not happy. They're not going up to the 3rd level. So I'm going to put some houses in range of everybody so that they'll get up to the full level we want to build them up to. Now the yak shack produces wool, so we can make textiles from that, just not yet in the demo. So we're going to leave some space around it to make sure we got some room. I want a little more room for some yaks, just because I'm going to be using yaks for other things. Now yaks, you'll notice when I put that second one in, the 2 yak farms blend together. So what's nice is as you do make larger fields, things like the barley fields and the yak fields will merge into much larger, which is aesthetically very pleasing. One fence around the whole block. So the shafts take us up to the next level. Bridges go across, shafts go up. So again, we're going to plant the base on one end and then find where it will extend to on the other end. Let's keep it over here. I guess we'll put it over here. And there's the extension. We'll put one over here as well. I want it to line up with that road, so we'll make sure it lines up. And then put in the road to connect them. And now we can build the upper levels. The lower level is green, the upper level is yellow. That yellow level, certain things build more effectively on the upper level. Beekeepers, for example, they produce 2 on the green level, but will produce 5 on this upper level. So I'm going to go up here and put up some beekeepers on this upper level. They're going to be too far away from the marketplaces. So I'm going to need to build a warehouse to store the honey. And I can then send the honey from the warehouse to the other marketplaces. So that way, when you build things far away, you can still ship things around. So now I've got the honey being sent to the warehouse, and now we're going to send it from the warehouse to the 2 marketplaces. You will need to then assign a carrier so that you can bring the actual honey to the marketplace itself. The farther the carrier has to go, the less it can carry. So you'll notice the farther marketplace was getting less amount. So we'll send them a couple extra carriers. You can see the red flag means we need a little more honey down here. So we'll go back to here, we'll make some more honey. We'll send that honey to the warehouse. And then we'll send it from the warehouse to Marketplace 1. Add a couple more carriers, so now that they're getting enough. And now you can see we're getting enough of all resources. So if we expand with more houses, there will be plenty of resources there. So as you develop your towns, you'll be adding more resource buildings, connecting them to either warehouses or marketplaces so that you can support more workers. So I'm going to get a second mill down here with a couple of lovely farms. You can see how they merge together into one little farm. But we still need to send their barley to the mill, and then the mill sends their flour to the marketplace. And now we've got that. Later on, we can build bakeries and send the flour to the bakery instead of the marketplace. Or use a warehouse so we can send a little bit to each. Now the second level has mines, copper mines. So you can see we can choose what we want to set the copper mine on. And then we need to make sure we've got a space for the little building, the mine itself. And then we'll connect it with roads. Like other two-part resources, we'll then build our copper utility forge. Next, let's set up a couple roads for those other mines up there. But now we need to send it from the mine to the copper utility utensil maker. Since again, he's too far from any marketplace, so we're going to need to set up a warehouse for all the copper utilities. Since I know I'm going to have those two other mines show up, I want to make sure this warehouse is going to be within range of all three mines. So I can send all of them, the copper utensils, to the same warehouse. And then that warehouse sends the copper to both marketplaces, making sure you have at least one or two carriers to deliver the copper. Need just a little bit more copper there and a little bit more copper here. So one more carrier from each should make everybody happy. Now you can see the income copper of 6, outcome copper is at 4.5. Unless we keep adding more people, which is then taking up more resources, and we need to send them more copper. We are only producing 6 at the moment. Fortunately, that seems to be enough. But if we add more people, they're going to use more resources. And now we're going to need, in this case, more honey. So we'll go back up, add more beekeepers. Unless we're already producing 10, yeah, we could just send a little more honey. And now everybody's producing. And we can click on the market to see what each area needs. And the top interface bar shows how much we are producing of our workers, artisans, and yaks. Now we can also make textiles. So remember that yak shack with the cheese producing wool? It'll also use the wool for textiles. So we'll just set up a little textile guy, make sure our marketplace is within the green, send the wool to the textile house, and the textiles to the marketplace. And now all of our artisans can upgrade to the top tier level 3 artisan. But as we add more artisans, they want more honey, they want more textiles, they want more copper. So we'll just set up more resources and send them to this marketplace. You can see how much more of each we need, only a little bit more textiles, but a generous amount more honey and copper. As long as we're not, so you can see we're going to need, okay, that is enough honey. But we're probably going to need to set up another copper mine to get enough resources. Nope, that was enough. Okay. Textiles. We only have one textile house, so it looks like we'll need another yak shack and textile house. Because he's already producing as much as he can produce, and he's using as much as he can use. So I guess we're going to need to find a new place for a yak house. And I want to make sure the textile maker is within range of that marketplace. So we'll start with our cheesemonger yak shack. Set up enough room for all the other buildings. Set up the cheesemonger over here. And set up the textile next to it as well. Now we can send our production and stuff, milk to the cheese, wool to the textiles, and have them both send their stuff to the marketplace. And we are now producing enough to keep our entire city alive and happy. So we could even add more. Now, you could only keep lowlands on one side and only artisans on the other side. That way you don't have to worry about making sure everybody gets all the resources. But if you do mix and match, then you're going to need to make sure whatever makes artisans happy is available over here, like honey and copper. Or whatever makes lowlanders happy is available on the other side, like eggs. So we're just going to make sure we've got enough resources to supply all of our people. Make sure your income is a little bit more than your outcome. And also remember that when the full game comes out, the economy is going to limit how quickly you can buy and grow. Since the demo, we don't have economy, I can just keep making things all over the place. Mines and roads, and not have to worry about how much it's actually costing. Now we'll set up our copper utensils. We'll get the chain going across from... Oh, so we need more yaks. Okay. So let's go down to our yak production area and just set up some more yaks down here. Get some roads, and we'll throw in a couple of yak farms down here. So you can see 3 yak farms in a row make one gigantic yak farm. I don't really have enough to add any more yak farms connected to that one, so we'll start some more yak farms down here. Aren't they cute? Everybody likes yaks. So the barley fields and the yak farms will grow together. Now I'll send the copper to the utensils, utensils to the warehouse, warehouse, send them out. So as you go, we'll be adding more buildings, more resources, and juggle who gets what where. Now you can send more than just copper and honey into those warehouses. If you know you're going to be expanding, I'm going to plan on setting a marketplace up on that second tier, so I can actually set up a farming zone to its own warehouses. So we'll set up barley mills down here with a bunch of barley mills and send their production to the mill. But instead of sending it to a marketplace, there isn't any in range, so I'm going to set up a warehouse and send the barley to the warehouse. Now when I set up a marketplace somewhere far away, I do not need to set up a farm right next to them. I can send them barley from this marketplace. In fact, from this warehouse. In fact, I'm going to set up a second mill with its own barley fields down here, all connected. So we're going to get some barley. We're going to set up some fields over here. We'll set up a mill right here. And we're going to send the barley to the mill. We'll send the barley to the mill. And we'll send the mill to the where. You can see it's too far away. The roads are too far, mill to warehouse. But if I build a tiny road right next to it, now it's easy to send it straight over. And now we can send barley to both cities without having to worry about building farms right next door. So as those marketplace cities grow, I can ship them in barley from this warehouse. That works with other resources. So I can set up a couple of yak shacks over here with a couple of cheese makers. Cheesemaker. And a couple of textiles. Let's get a road to connect our cheesemakers. And we'll get some textiles. Ooh, looks like we're short on people. Well, we'll get a warehouse for the cheese and a warehouse for textiles. We also need more workers. Let's get low-wage workers. Upgrade those buildings so we get even more workers. And now we can get those cheesemakers, sending it to the warehouse. So milk 1, milk 2, cheese 1, cheese 2. You can see it's too far away. No problem, we'll just put in a road that connects them a little more closely. And they're now within range. And now we can send cheese everywhere. And as you set up more marketplaces, we can have it farm fresh every day. Now we got that. Let's set up the textiles connected to those yak shacks and set up a warehouse for textiles. Yak shack wool, yak shack wool, textile to warehouse, textile to warehouse. So the warehouse system, you can set things up as sort of resource centers and have them shipped. And now I'll just add some more to make people happy. Cheese and textiles are available everywhere. More cheese. The trick at this point is keeping track of which marketplace you did first, which marketplace you did second. Because that's the order they're going to be in the list here. Each marketplace has the little magnifying glass button, so you can zoom to that marketplace so you can be sure you can see. You'll also notice it highlights yellow when you're doing that distribution. So you can see we need more cheese. So we'll go here and we'll send, not to that one, but cheese to that one. As long as your output is less than your income, we now have lots of happy people in a growing village. They want cheese and textiles. So next up, the game wants us to build on the third level is an avalanche inducer. There's snow peaks and snow caps that are going to be dropping snow on. So the avalanche inducer helps you control a little more about when they happen. Let's get my roads up here and we'll connect to the third level. Third top level, it's got some copper mines. It's got some space to build things. Let's pop that guy down right here. And he needs yaks. So let's set up a yak farm up here just for it. And just because I like them, we're going to do a double. Because everyone likes yaks. Yaks. Okay, that's plenty of yaks to get the avalanche inducer going. Now, I could trigger it right now, but that's going to end the demo. So I want to have fun. Let's look around some other things. We've got salt pieces. Here's the back side of the mountain. We've got mineral outcroppings for other types of mines. In the full game, you can actually do research. So you can learn for these other types of mines. There are gold mines and salt mines and minerals that are used for things like dyes and other production. When we make butter tea, that type of thing. So you can scroll around using our WASD. Oh, look, a gold outcrop. Just to see where you're going to grow to. Using bridges, here's the snow cap on top and the summit where we're going to build things. Now you can see the summit cap accumulates snow, which could fall on your village. There's more than one snow cap on the mountain as well. So the different snow caps will drop avalanches in different directions. So the avalanche inducer will help you keep control when they happen. Some salt outcroppings for when I make bakeries and butter tea. So you can see there's a lot of space to grow, and it's just a matter of keeping track of where your roads go and how many villagers you need. We'll set up another copper mine over here with its copper utensils. We'll set up the road so that it's close enough to that warehouse. So I only really need one utensil warehouse. Now, the big disadvantage of setting up these warehouses is if they are in the way of an avalanche. One avalanche taking out that one warehouse could cripple my economy because all of the people who need copper wouldn't get it. So some people may advise on spreading out, having more than one warehouse for your resource so everybody isn't dependent on that one output. Here in the demo, we don't care. Get a couple more beehives going. So I can actually set up a third marketplace in the middle here. So I can actually start setting up a larger and larger building. Rather than just ending the game right now, ending the demo now, where I'm going to set up some more resources. And we'll get everybody all happy and to their maximum capacity. Come down here, add a little bit more down here. Since I've got some good radius on things, we could set up more housing or more farms. Since these guys need cheese and textiles, we might as well give them their own yak shack. Set up the yak shack. We'll set up the cheese maker. Make sure we leave room, because remember, the cheese maker and the textile are what need to be next to that marketplace. So we'll set up the cheese maker and we'll set up the textile close enough so that we can just provide these guys with their own resources. Needs more yak, so we'll set up a second farm down here. Get our road, see if we can get some yak shacks, some yak farms down there. No, I guess not. So we'll set it down here. Now we got some yaks. Now we got some milk. Now we got some wool. Now we got some cheese. And we got some textiles. And that's enough to make this area happy and get up to maximum capacity. Oh, look, they want honey. That's okay. We got honey. Honey to Marketplace 1, please. And now everybody is as happy as they can be. Green are your villagers, and orange are the output, the resource producers. So you can see all those warehouses and farms are producing for that marketplace, and all the houses are using that marketplace. So let's go up to our other tier. Let's fit in some more people. We're going to do my usual roads to get that marketplace roughly in the center so that it can get food out to most people. We'll add a couple crossroads just to make the distribution a little easier. Now we'll start sending stuff to marketplace number 3. We got barley to marketplace number 3. We got our honey to marketplace number 3. Let's get some cheese. We'll get some textiles to marketplace number 3. Make sure to add the carriers, otherwise no supplies will actually get there. And since they're far away, you can see it's not providing a lot per carrier, but it's enough for us to get started. Enough for us to see if we can start getting some housing in here. Yeah. It's here, it's there, and we'll throw in some houses. Mostly workers, so we're going to get some of these blue ones, but we'll get a couple artisans up here as well. Now, because of that, we're going to also need to get mandalas and baths and look for the green lines to see where they're going to be able to reach. We're just going to keep our housing on the right side of this plateau and have set up the housing in between all these sections. And as we raise them, we're going to need to raise their resources and how much they get. Likewise, we could build farms. So let's put in things like egg farms and more beekeepers. So we could actually have a beekeeper send it directly to the marketplace as opposed to the warehouse. Now I'm sending it to the warehouse. Get these guys, see how much their income is versus outcome. Should be output. And then we'll bump it up to our third marketplace. Marketplace number 3 needs more food, needs more textiles, needs more cheese. Now, artisans are the ones who are carrying things, so make sure you've got plenty of artisans as well as plenty of the lowlanders. Now we've got production for everybody at maximum. Everybody's happy. If we want to. We know we're going to need more yaks eventually, so we might as well get some yaks plugged in here, that kind of thing. And you can just keep expanding. In the full game, you'll be able to use the shafts and bridges to connect to those other platforms. For the demo, we've only got these 4 places to build. The 2 green on the bottom, 1 yellow in the middle, and 1 mountaintop. Now, that's not the summit we're building on at the mountaintop. It's just the upper level. The summit itself will be when we can do monks and monasteries. So we can't build up on that ice summit. We're just going to build in this top brown area. But it's got copper mines, and we can always use copper. So I'm going to see if we can get these guys. We'll need a little bit of road to connect them. And there are 3, so we'll need a warehouse up here. So let's make sure we put those utility places within reach of a good warehouse. 1 more over here. We'll need to make a road out to it, but that's not a problem. And then our copper utensils. And then 1 warehouse within range of all. Looks like we'll need some more yaks. Always more yaks. Okay. And now each of the copper mines can send to its own utensil shop. And then each utensil shop can be sending it to the warehouse. And now the warehouse can send copper to all 3 marketplaces. Long way away, you gotta scroll around a bit. Marketplace 1, Marketplace 2. I'm doing this in order I built the marketplaces, so it's a little easier to keep track of which one is which. Since right now we cannot name those marketplaces, I'm trying to keep track of which was the first, second, versus third. And now we can jam up some carriers. Oh, I'm out of carriers. We'll need to build more artisan houses to get more carriers. Fortunately, I know this zone is full of happiness, so we can quickly level up those and get a bunch more carriers, a bunch more artisans. Because everybody wants more copper. And Marketplace 3 wants more, a couple other things as well. Let's bump up the copper, because everybody wants more copper. We're income of 18, so we can actually send a lot of copper. How much do they need? Okay. They still need more copper. They still need more copper. Let's send some food and cheese and things. Get some more yak farms, that kind of stuff. So looking for those red flags so you know what your people want. You know what to build next. Expand my road so I can take over down here. Now another dangerous thing I'm doing is by filling up this entire area, I don't have any sort of safety zone for avalanches. Fortunately in the demo I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to set up some mills, send some barley up to level 3. We're going to need a warehouse. Because it looks like I am in range of that warehouse. Let's see. And the mill. This is not in range. So we'll need to set up another warehouse down here. I'm planning on doing more mills. One warehouse in range of the multiple mills is definitely the way to go. Prep a zone for some more barley farms. There are not too many dead ends, so the shipping zones can find their way through nice and quick. Some more mills. Now you'll notice that barley farm can actually have a lot more than just 2 farms attached to it. I believe a barley can have up to 5 fields for 1 mill. You'll notice when you choose a producer, it'll have how much it'll produce. And if it has a requirement, it'll have a requirement. So the mills can produce a lot more than I'm giving them. So if you want to be conservative with space, look to see how much those resources can affect each other. Let's get some cheese, now some textiles. Looks like we need to make some more cheese and mills. Cheese and textiles. Yak shacks galore. Upgrade our happy people. And yep, we need more cheese. There's more barley there. And with a demo, as long as you don't do the avalanche, you can keep building and making stuff as much as you like. Let's destroy that road so I can get a second yak farm. Yak farms don't need to be nearby. They just need to be connected to roads. Okay, now I'm producing. I got extra yaks, we got extra lowlanders, we got extra things. So you can see in the tech tree, we've got a lot of upper level buildings that you need to research in the game. Also, some of those will require those mineral and salt resources. So there is going to be a lot of room to grow, a lot of ways to expand. Lumber mills, butter tea, all sorts of fun resources. each of these trees have a whole bunch of different resources and different buildings to make. So instead of just the mandala, we got lots of that. Instead of just a warehouse, we can build the trading posts and cart facilities. Not only can we do the avalanche thing, but we've got these other utilities to protect and grow our cities. So once the game fulls out, it's going to be a lot to chew on, plus the economy to balance to make sure you can afford all this stuff. So let's go ahead and hit the avalanche. And this is what happens when a snow cap collapses. It's collapsing down the other side as well. You can see behind the mountain's edge, and it wipes out several chunks of my city. And that is the demo. You can keep playing. It'll actually do an auto save right when you hit the horn, so if you want to go back in and play some more, you can. We're looking forward to this game as it comes out. I hope to see you guys playing. Thanks for watching. This is Shameless Mayhem playing Laysara, Summit Kingdom demo.